Hey, um, my name is Mr. Pearson. I'm a friend of Mr. Ladine's, and I just got an email from him today with questions about how to go about learning the chord changes for my favorite things. So I'm going to talk you through how I go about learning chord changes and also how I have my students go through learning chord changes. And so bear with me. If any of this stuff doesn't make sense, turn your head to your right or to your left, wherever Mr. Ladine is, and go, what does that mean? And he'll explain that. For right now, I'm going to try to break this up into different videos. And the first thing I'm going to talk about are just the first 8 measures of the solo sheet. Now, the solo sheet that you have looks incredibly confusing because there's so much stuff on it. But what you need to know is that it looks more complicated than it really is. Okay? The first 4 measures that you have are in the key of F minor. The second 4 measures are in the key of D flat major. All the other stuff that's going on there for right now just doesn't matter. It's just that you're playing in F minor and D flat major. And again, if you're not sure of what those notes are in those keys, ask Mr. Ladine and he can help you through that. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to play whole notes on just the letters that are listed. So for example, the first 4 measures, I'm going to play a whole note of F, and then 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 I'm going to go and play whole notes on D flat for 4 measures because it is 4 measures of F and 4 measures of D flat. This again is the same thing that I have my students do. I'm going to demonstrate it to you with my metronome on, but I'm going to take a tempo that's probably much quicker than you would take for this piece. I'm just going to do it to try to shorten up the video a little bit. Okay, so here it is, barring any squawks and squeaks. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So My Favorite Things has some kind of strange sounding chords to it, so you kind of notice that the 2 notes don't necessarily fit overly well together, but don't worry about that. Again, right now, I'm just trying to map out when is it in F and when is it in D flat. Sorry, I had to check my transposition there for a second. Okay, so next, after I have my students do that, just playing the whole notes, we call them the root, just playing the root note on whole notes, I then go to having them play the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th of every chord. So, for example, in F minor, I'd be playing F, A flat, C, and E flat, and it would sound like. And then for D flat major, that is, I'd be playing D flat, F, A flat, and C. See, I had to think about that for a second. In case I missed one, I apologize. Now, once I do that, it sounds like this with the metronome. 1, 2, 3. Finally, the last thing I do in terms of just understanding the chord changes is I play half notes on the 3rd note and the 7th note of this. They're notes that sound a little bit funkier, but they fit really well. So that would sound like this. 1, 2, 3. And when I put it all together, it sounds like this. And 1, 2, 3. And then, I'll turn that off because it's annoying. The last thing that I would do after I get through all of that and I'm comfortable with it is I would try a little bit of improvising. But I'm going to still keep it very structured. And so this is an area where it doesn't really matter if it sounds pretty. It's more about lining everything up in terms of the structure of it. So what I'm going to try to do, and I may even make mistakes at this, but I'm going to try to play the root note, okay, the one that's written above the measure, at the beginning of every measure. And then I'm going to try to just fill in with some notes in between. So at the beginning, it's like F fill in, F fill in, F fill in, F fill in, D flat fill in, D flat fill in, D flat fill in, D flat fill in, etc. And just starts to help line up where everything falls and when the chords change. Okay, so it sounds like this. 1, 2, oh, 1, 2, 3. And I tried to kind of demonstrate there as I was playing to show you where those are, but hopefully you can also tell with the metronome where that click is for the beginning of each measure. But try this stuff first and foremost. It seems like a lot of work, but I promise you it will pay off huge in the end. Remember, start with the root notes and then do 1, 3, 5, 7 of each measure, and then do 3 and 7 in half notes, and then try putting the whole thing together and using that exercise to learn, and then improvise with the root note of each measure and adding some stuff in between. Thanks.